Hey guys, thank you for joining. You will see three dots below your screen. If you click on that, there is a chat. So as I talk, please put down your question, and at the end of the presentation, I'll be answering your questions. Thank you. Okay, first I want to go to API ICP website. And let's see, I know some of you have already got the certification, some of the API, but let's quickly go and see what is this about. So if you want to give the next exam is between July 16 and August 6. So that's a 3 weeks window. If you have registered, the deadline was May 14, and it's a 3 hours, 15 minutes. So 195 minutes for 110 questions. That's roughly 1.5 minutes. So that the deadline has passed. So if you're planning to register, then the next one would be on between November 5 to 26, another 3 weeks window. So remember, when you register, you have to select the window. You can only attend the exam during this window. If for any reason you can't find a slot by Prometric, who is holding the exam on behalf of API, then it's as good as failing the exam. You have to reschedule and pay $150. So the next one is November 5 to 26 with a deadline of September 3. So you have to submit your application by September 3. Let's see what are the fees here. If you come here, you can see that it's $415 for non-member, and for API member is $315. So it's unlike ASNT, there is no individual membership. That means your company should be an API member, so you can use that reduced amount of $315. So most of people end up paying $415 for the initial exam. And for recertification, if you pass the exam, every 3 years, you have to apply for recertification. You can do it up to 90 days before your certification is due, and up to 90 days after your certification has expired with a late fee. This is $315 again for recertification. And if you cannot find a slot after you got your authorization email from API to attend the exam, it is $150 for rescheduling. So for any reason, if you fail, if you cannot attend on that slot, that's $150 and rescheduling. Normally they come back within a couple of days and they give you another authorization for your next schedule or the one after that, whichever you choose. And if you want to recertify, but you are late, so up to 90 days after your expiration, you can still apply, but you have to pay $150 on top of that $315 for recertification. So let's see why this is a unique certificate. There is no other certification in the world that we can compare to this. And it shows your competency. So it can do wonders for your CV and for your jobs. API recognizes 4 levels: the basic level for source inspector, the entry level, the entry level trainers, and the basic level, and the supervisory level, and then the mastery level. And they will test you on basic level. So it's very basic question coming. And you don't need to be a welding inspector, coating inspector, or NDE examiner to qualify or sit for this exam. And the question that comes, they are very basic on welding, coating, materials, NDE. All you need to know is what you should find in a report. Okay, let's go to this certification. Let's see what is this about. So you go to this API ICP, Individual Certification Program, and you filter it by API SIRE, Source Inspector Rotating Equipment. So you can see here the exam information. What happens is you have to register with API and provide 2 references. You don't need much of pre-qualification. Any industry experience is good enough. and then they will pay the fees and select a window that you want to attend, and they will send you email authorization and with a link to Prometric, who is holding the exam on their behalf. And because of COVID, they also do remote testing. That means you can do the test from the comfort of your home or office. So if you go in person, they will ask you some security question. You should have a government-issued photo ID, and it should not be expired. We had candidates who went there with expired driving license, and they were refused entry, and they had to give the exam 6 months later. So be careful. As a plan B, have two government issued, like a driving license and a passport, and both should be in date. So they will ask you a few security questions. They'll ask you to lift your, your trousers so they can see that you are not hiding anything, or on your sleeves, or on your foot. And they will ask your date of birth or email address. They take a picture, and then they will direct you to your seat to start the exam. Remote proctoring is also the same way, but it is from comfort of your home office. So your laptop should be like mine, a video camera, and you should turn on your sound so they keep watching you. There will be somebody, some proctor who is watching you, and you have to turn the laptop 360. You cannot leave the room without their permission. And there should be nothing on your table. So it would be practically the same security, but long distance. So you can choose at the time of selecting the slots. Once you get your email authorization, I would recommend that you immediately get your slot reserved, because it's a first come, first served basis. So if you can't find, if you do it late and you can't find a slot with Prometric, then you have to try the next center. We had candidates who had to fly from London to Amsterdam because they tried to reserve the slot very late, and there was nothing available, so they had to fly there. Otherwise, they had to wait 6 months or reschedule and pay the rescheduling fee. So having said that, this exam is 3 hours, 15 minutes, or 195 minutes. There are 110 questions. 100 are scored and 10 are not scored, and they are not marked. So you have to answer all the questions. You don't know which one is the non-scored question. The reason is that when API design questions, every time they add more questions to the data bank, so they see that there are 2 criteria they have. It's normally designed by one person and then checked by 3 other subject matter experts or SMEs. One, is the question relevant that the source inspector should know, be aware of? And 2, is the question is clear enough? So these test question or non-scored question then are added, and are so if they are not challenged, or there are a reasonable number of people could answer that question, that would turn into a scored question into their permanent data bank. I'll go through this exam tutorial, and I recommend you to go through that. So because this is what you see before you start the exam. They give you 10 minutes, or if you end it earlier. So that practically tells you how the exam is held. So how many minutes you got. And as you can see here, it's almost 10 minutes you got here and the time remaining. So they will provide you a calculator on your desktop. I'll quickly go through this. How you use the mouse, which is the same as use on your any desktop. Then navigating through the exam, so you can see this is what you see on your desktop during the exam. So you can go straight away to question 4, or to say question 9 or 10, and you can see that question. And then there is a back and next, so you can go to last question, previous one, or the next question. And if the question is long, it says this page requires scrolling. So unless you don't scroll, you can't answer that question. So they want to make sure that you have seen the whole question actually. And then the time remaining would be on the top right-hand corner, and 30 minutes, 15 and 5 minutes before the end of the time, it will flag off. So just to let you know that you are closing, you're finishing your time. And you can flag it. There is a flag button. So if a question you answer and you are in doubt, you can flag it off and come back to it later at the end. And I recommend that. Obviously, you'll find some question that you are not 100% sure about the answer, but mark the answer and then flag it off and then come back to the last 15, 20 minutes and go through them and see what's the best answer you could give. So when you answer the question, it turns color, as you can see here. And there is a calculator that you can use, and it's a simple calculator. It would be something like this. I don't think you would need calculator for this exam. It would be simple multiplication or subtraction at most, but they would provide you. You can drag and highlight the question. So if you want to focus on that, you can do that with clicking your mouse and dragging it. And you can right click on an answer and you can strike it off, so you can concentrate on two best possible answers. Say if you out of 4 answers, 2 of them you know definitely is wrong, so you can sort of zoom in on the possible correct answer. And then at the end, you can, or anytime, you can sort of filter the question by unattempted, attempted, and flag. I suggest that you attempt all of the question. There is no negative marking. And so if you run out of time, at least you have attended and you tried your chance. And then you can say filter it by flag question and see only those questions, or see the whole question if you have enough time. And also you can comment on that, but remember that it's coming off your time. So whatever comment you make, that the clock keeps running. And then at the for ending the exam, there is an end button, and they will ask you for confirmation to make sure that you haven't clicked that end button by mistake. And then, or when you run out of time. So if you go to toilet, you come back through the same security questions. So it might, you waste 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, depending. Or so the clock keeps running. It doesn't stop. Or if you make a comment or anything. So once, if you don't click the stop end button, it will end automatically after you run out of time. So better have a look at it. This is 10 minutes, or you can, if you end it earlier. So let's see. I can see a few potential questions here that I can tell you. Your job is quality surveillance. It's not QA, it's not QC, it's not the pure inspection like welding inspection, coating inspection, or NDE. It's quality surveillance. So they might ask you, what's your role? And the correct answer will be quality surveillance. And you are supposed to examine fabricated and manufactured equipment, a supplier's facility, and make sure that their quality management system is actually implemented and utilized. So these are sort of a practical question. I'll go to publication effectivity sheet. And so this is the most important thing, the reference here. So you got guide for inspection and quality surveillance of rotating equipment. It's API 578. This is already given to you for free. I will go through that very shortly. You can download it from API, just below this document. And then you can see that the list of documents that you have studied. Remember, these documents like API 610, centrifugal pumps, 611, general purpose steam turbines, 614, lubrication, auxiliaries, like lube oil and all, 617, axial and centrifugal compressor, etc. And then you go reciprocating compressor, 618. Most of them, you have to concentrate on section 6 for inspection, because you're looking at this document from inspection point of view. And then the all important HI 14.6, which is the pump test, and it's widely used in the industry. And you should know about the materials. It would be very basic knowledge, section 2, ASME section 2, and about non-destructive examination, the articles, 1, 2, 4, 5, up to 23. And then this is very basic. So you should know what a procedure looks like, what a report looks like, ND report. You should see in a report, because you're not an ND examiner, as I said. But you should know how these different ND methods work. And then section 8, rules for construction of pressure vessel, and they have explained what you exactly see. It's a very little thing like acceptance criteria. For example, ND procedure should be written according to ASME section 5, but the acceptance criteria is in ASME section 8. Even most of the pumps and all the acceptance criteria for ND is in ASME section 8. And then ASME section 9, you should know what is a WPS, and you have to study these clauses, QW 100 up to QW 500 and 540. And then the personal qualification, you should know what duties of a level 1, level 2, level 3, the eye test, colorblind test, that sort of thing. And then there is a section for ASTM A703, casting for pressure containing parts. This is widely used also in the industry. MSS SP55. Again, it's a casting quality standard, and there are some 65 pictures. But you should know the very basic, what are the casting defects and all shrinkages, pores, that sort of thing. And last, then you need to know about various surface preparation guide for coating. For example, the question could be as simple as what is the code for white metal blast cleaning, and it's NACE 1 or SP5. Okay. Okay, let's go back to the all-important document. Between all these documents is that study guide, that 578 we just talked about. This is very important. It's free to use for all, and I would say around 40–45% of question comes from this. So I'll go quickly through that. It's definition abbreviation. Training, when you go to a site, you should know that the vendor has got has kept the certification of all their personnel, NDE, welding, coating, and they have gone through sufficient training. The source inspection management program that not many people are familiar with, but it's not widely used in industry. This practically is that you should have a plan and a program that how you're going to manage the source inspection. If you see a non-conformity, what you would do, how you would contact the vendor. So that would be project specific, that you have to, when you're going to visit, that sort of thing. And planning activities, that's as good as like putting a calendar and say, okay, on these days I'm going to visit this based on their inspection test plan and fabrication progress, and the ITP intervention point, inspection test plan. And then your performance is how you have to conduct yourself as a source inspector. You should be never argumentative. If you don't agree, then raise the matter, and you're not satisfied with your supervisor. This might be a potential question. You should observe the safety of the site and the factory, and what documents you have to review, like, most of the test reports, hydrostatic, leak test, NDE, welding, etc. And then how to perform the source inspection and examination methods, tools, and equipment. As I said, you should know about, you should not be, you're not needed to be a welding inspector or NDT examiner, or but you should know about how this works. There's always a procedure. You should know what elements should be in the procedure. Is it approved? Are they working according to the procedure? What you should see in the ND report, in the welding report, etc. And then the final acceptance, it would tell you what you need to see, especially the shipping preparation, and it's more or less same for all types of rotating equipment, really, on all these standards that you see, 610, 611. And then you should know, obviously, about manufacturing fabrication processes like casting, forging, drilling, machining, and welding process. So very basic things, And then it talks about all rotating equipment, centrifugal pumps, drivers, gears, steam turbines, lube oil system for big compressors that they need to be cooled off. They're like a radiator, reciprocating compressors, rotary and axial, and the rest. And there would be a few photos. So I strongly recommend, you would probably receive around 40% of questions from this document alone. Okay. So about pre-qualification, any experience in petroleum petrochemical industry would do. They didn't mention the date, like how many years you should have. And this is about exam. I would like to go to our website, and I want to show you something here. So you have 4 references here. One is the experience of people who have attended the exam. So you can ask them. Remember, I've seen people who are much more qualified than me, but unfortunately they failed the exam. They were mechanical engineer with 20 years experience only on rotating equipment because they didn't realize that what they need to remember or study. They studied something which had not many marks in it, and they didn't study something which had many marks in it. So here you can see, if you give the exam, you will have a score report, and it will say how many questions out of maximum number of questions you answered correctly. You should roughly do 70%. Previously, they used to immediately send you a preliminary pass or fail. Seems they stopped that, as far as I know. And then, as you see here, on basic source inspection, the maximum number of questions out of 100 scored question is 19. Inspection reference documentation is 18. Manufacturing process, 18 question would come, more or less. Inspection tools and equipment, 10. And methods of examination is 19. And final inspection and testing is 16. That's roughly what you get shared between all these topics. Okay. I'm going to go to our website, and that you can, some of them you can read for free, study for free. So if you come to our courses, if you come to our home screen here, we are a APIU approved training center. We are also a CPD accredited provider. That means if you are a member of professional body, you can provide our certificate of completion for as part of, if you are applying for charter engineer, professional engineer, or incorporated engineer or technician, you can do that. And we provide more than 20 courses on API. As you can see, it's both full courses and the mock exam package. So the full course, you would have the full body of knowledge, and the mock exam package is cheaper, but you will have only the flashcards, which is the highlight of the exam, potential exam questions, the mock exam questions, plus 1 hour of video introductory. So I want to show you what is this all about. This course is 40 hours CPD credit hours. You will get certificate completion from us. We are approved CPD provider. It has got 8 hours of video, 21 sets of flashcards, 39 lessons, and 700 questions. If for any reason, even you couldn't attend or whatever, and you give up or you don't want to this, you have 2 options with us. Either we renew the 4 months 24/7 access for you with online support that you can see here. And you can always talk to us, or if you have any queries, through this WhatsApp line that is on our website. Or you can send us your failed certificate and we will refund you in full, and you don't want to pursue it any further. So we give you 100% guarantee in case you don't want to pursue it further or you fail the exam. So here, if you come to overview, the overview here in our course, you can see we have explained in detail what each module contains, body of knowledge, guide for some source inspection, and what you get in return. And here you can also try our first quiz for free, and you can go to course content and see exactly what we are offering here. This is a list of documents. So these two are free for all. If I click on this, you can see that you can even, have a full page here, and you can have a video. I'll just play a bit of
Module
this.
1, API SIRE Study Plan.
And then you can see also in text and pictures, the whole thing, okay? And then our second one, you can go to the next, which is our benchmark quiz, or you can go from overview. And you click here, and you can start the test for free. As you can see here, we have put the percentage of your progress, and there is a next, and you can also see answer, obviously, during exam, you can't see that. And for each question, now I have run out of time because I tried this again, and I will show you some other question that I've done, because I've already done this. So you'll see that we got body of knowledge scoring area. Module 3 is about surveillance inspection of that guide 578 and SSPC MSS and ASME section 2 materials, non-destructive examination ASME 5, NDT personnel certification, welding, construction code ASME section 8, 578, material verification program, or PMI as we all know it. And each of these rotating equipment is one by one. We have explained in detail, just sufficient enough for your exam actually. And then we have flashcards that are potential exam questions. And then say if you click on one of our mock exams, say this one, you can see that this is exactly designed as per the API. So we have here the next previous button, we have the timing, and it's 195 minutes but we increased the number of questions here to 145 questions, I guess, here. And as you can see, the progress is here, and you have next and see answer, but obviously you won't see answer there. So you can go to the next question. Okay, I've run out of time on this one also, I think. And then you can flag it off like API. And then you click on this and go to the next. At the end, you can see which question you didn't answer correctly and how much you got. And you can do it again and again for 4 months, 24/7. So that's it, guys. I'm ready for any question you have. Let's see if there was any question. Okay, I can't see any question now, but if you have any question, I would be more than happy to help. Thank you, guys. I'm still, we are here. So if you have any question, you can always ask us through WhatsApp. Thank you for joining, and I hope this was useful for you, and I apologize for so much information I gave you. Thank you.